guys, Julia here from JM Squared Vintage. Welcome back to the channel. I am here today with the bins haul. I've got about 30 items that I picked up from my favorite bins location here for $1 a piece. I've got to say though, this was like a tough week at the bins. I was there for a pretty long time, and to only get about 30 items is pretty low for the amount of time that I was there. It was just one of those days where they were rolling out new bins, and like I recognized the things that I had seen before. I'd seen some things that I had seen already in the bins, so they were just like circulating some of the stuff in the bins, hoping that it would get picked through again. I don't know if they just had like low inventory, so they needed to like stretch that out over the course of the day, but whatever it was really, really crowded. Like, I've never experienced it. I go very early to the bins, and I've never experienced it in those like first couple table turns that like I could not get into a bin. Like, I literally couldn't get into the bin anywhere. Now, granted, I'm never the person that's like chomping at the bit and like running to the bins like that. Like, we have a ton of bins bros here, and they're all looking. Every single one of them is looking for the same stuff. They're looking for those vintage t-shirts, the vintage Carhartts, the vintage Levi's. And that's just like a limited and finite pool. So they're very aggressive in terms of like getting to the bins first, and like for good reason, because if they don't find it, somebody else will, and that's that. Whereas the stuff that I pick up, tends to be a little bit more out there, and it's a little bit less competitive for stuff like that. So I'm never the person that's like mowing down the crowd to get in, but like I've never ever experienced it where I could not get into a bin in like the first couple table changes. Sure, once you get to the busy part of the day, that gets to be about normal. You start getting like the younger kids there, you know, whatever, and it just fills in. But it was crowded and the stuff was not that great. However, I did find 30 great pieces, some interesting vintage pieces, some new potential Bolo brands that are at least new to me. I'm interested to hear if you guys are familiar with some of them, but I did, despite it being a pretty rough day, I did find some good stuff. And I will say that like the chatter around the bins, it sounds like everybody was having kind of a not great day there. So I don't know if it was just like the volume of people, there was just more people kind of competing for those things that the bins bros are looking for, or they just were low on inventory, but here we are. But if you are new here, if this is your first time stumbling on my channel, first and foremost, welcome. Welcome to the party. I am Julia, that's my name. We talk all things thrifting and vintage and reselling on the internet. If that sounds like something that you might be into, consider hitting subscribe down below. I would love to have you along on this journey. But without further ado, guys, we've got a lot to get through. So go grab yourself a little sustenance, get yourself a snack, grab yourself a drink. You know I've got my matcha latte. So sit back, relax, and let's get into the goods. So we will start today with the single lone pair of shoes that I found. And this was so interesting. This is a pair of running shoes. They looked really nice. You know, everything about it just looked high end. This is real suede. This looks like hand stitching. It's got that kind of open tongue like the Nike Blazers have. So I look it up, and this brand is called Community Made. I'd never heard of it before. It was just one of those like gut situations, like these look really nice. So Community Made are all like handmade shoes. So my suspicions were correct. And they run like $300 to $400 retail. Now, I think that they're a pretty small brand, so I don't think it's a brand a ton of people know, but I'm interested to see how they do on the resale market. There wasn't a ton for sale out there. There wasn't a ton of sold comps out there, so maybe 50 bucks on these? I don't know. Let me know if any of you are familiar with this brand. Like I said, I mean, all the details look very high end. All the finishing looks really high end. And honestly, I just think that they're really cute. To be totally honest, I might even keep these for myself. But let me know if you're familiar with this brand. I, again, have never heard of it. It's very much like on trend right now, these like neutral runners. That's kind of what people are going for. I know that the Gen Zs are going for like the New Balances and like the true athletic dad shoes, but people more in their millennial era or that are like wearing these into an office, this is the kind of stuff that they're looking for. So interesting find. I'm very, very interested to see how these go. Next up, now this was kind of a cool find. This is vintage Free People. This is like Y2K Free People. I feel like I remember this dress specifically. So I do think that this used to have straps. Like you can kind of see, yeah, you can kind of see on either side of this embroidered panel here that there's like a little loop, but I don't think that that necessarily matters. This is Y2K for sure. It's got this beautiful like beaded embroidered detail here at the chest. It's a short tiered skirt. It's fully lined. It's in great condition. It's a size 4. The smocking, so on the back is all smocked for that like perfect fit, and it's still really tight, in really good condition. It's still got that little bit of a lettuce edge. I'm not quite sure what I'll see on this. Y2K Free People does get a lot of interest for me, at least, and I keyword it as such. So probably like $30 to $35 on this. Maybe a little bit more. Like the last thing I sold that was like truly of this era of Free People, it was like a little camisole, and it was like a tiny little camisole, but it ended up selling for like $40. So either way, people are looking for this era Free People. So very cool find, and it's in great condition considering the age. Next up, this is just a little vintage cardigan. It is 100% acrylic, unfortunately. You know I love finding old wool and old cashmere, but I just liked the style of this, and it's in very good condition. It's got kind of blouson sleeves. It's cream. It's in perfect condition. It's got that little curve detail at the hem. This will hit right at hip bone with little puff sleeves. This is the kind of thing, this is a vintage basic, so I won't get too much for it, maybe like 25 bucks. But you use granny core, coastal grandma, vintage, you know, there's a ton of keywords that you can go in with on something like this, and no doubt this will sell quickly. Like vintage basics do very, very well for me. I just think that they have a wider appeal. And again, really, really great condition. That is the benefit of acrylic. Moths don't like acrylic. Next up here, this is a Chico's piece. And this is a linen, just blue and white striped 3/4 sleeve blouse. It is a size 1. The kind of cool thing about this, as like a linen lover myself, this is no iron linen. And I gotta say, so this has been in a bag, and while it does have a little bit of rumple to it, like it doesn't look like it's been crumpled up in a ball for the last couple days, which it has been crumpled up in a ball. This is also in like impeccable condition. Oh, look at the detail here. So look at the detail on the pocket, how the stripes go askew, and then look at the back. I love that. Oh God, I wish this was my size. This is an occupational hazard, guys, but isn't that cute? I love that. So I'll probably see like somewhere between 25 and 32 on this. This is just a great staple, forever classic piece from Chico's, which is a brand that people know and people love. Next up here, now this is something that really I've only been picking up on slower days. This is a Tommy Bahama shirt, and it's one of their, you know, trademark Hawaiian shirts, great print, kind of a neutral base. So I see a lot of these here, and I will absolutely pick up the vintage Tommy Bahama. The tags look different than this. They do have a market, but this is one of the ones, it's an XL. It's a size extra large. It is 100% silk. These things are like wildly expensive. I want to say that they retail for like $200, maybe a little bit more. I don't know if you can see here, this is actually like a jacquard weave. Can you see that texture there? It's like a floral jacquard weave. It's beautiful. So something like this, again, would have retailed for like close to $200. I'll still probably see like 25 to 32 on this. They're just, I see a lot of Hawaiian shirts in my bins locations around the area, and it makes sense because California, this is like all the time summer. So I know that there are great vintage Hawaiian shirt brands that I need to keep my eyes out for, and I need to like bone up on that. I know Tommy Bahama because Tommy Bahama is like everywhere and it's a very high-end brand, but if you know of any good like vintage Hawaiian shirt brands that I should be keeping my eyes out for, let me know. Because if there are some like really collectible ones that I am passing up on, I don't want them to go to the waste stream. So put them down below and let me know if this is something that you do. What are the brands that you look for? How much do you get for them? I'm really interested to hear everybody else's kind of relationship with Hawaiian shirts. So very cool though. This is in like perfect condition. Slim pickings, but like the finds were there. It just took a while to find everything. Next up, okay, so now we're in the weird and well-made category. So I found these sweatpants and they're bright green and you can't miss them. They're super like over the top print. This kind of like graffiti quatrefoil floral print. It had back pockets, internal drawstring, and then when you go to the legs, it had again an internal like cinch, so you can make them wide open or you can cinch them in to be actual like sweatpants. So there was a lot about these that spoke to like this was an expensive pair of pants to make. So the brand on this is Neoity. I don't know if I'm saying that right. And as it turns out, they're a streetwear brand. They are based, I guess, here in LA. At least this is where their boutique is. These probably retailed about $100 on the resale market. I'm guessing what the situation is that they make these in limited editions. If I have to guess, this was founded in 2020, so COVID brand. The quality is really nice. It looks like the resale market is, you know, these are kind of going for anywhere between like $30 and $70 depending on the style. I don't know how old these are. They cannot possibly be that old if the company was founded in 2020. But again, the quality's there and they are in perfect condition. I'm really interested to see how this does. Yeah, I'm gonna guess that this is cut and sew, Los Angeles made, and hand silk screen maybe in their boutique. I'll do a little bit more digging. So I'm interested. Has anybody ever found a piece from this company? Is anybody like aware of them? Let me know. I'm very interested. I think that they're kind of hyper local, but let me know. Next up here, and this is something I might give to one of my friend's kids. This is a little block sweater, like BLOCH. This is made for ballet. Like this is made to be tied over a leotard. It's the kind of thing that like back when I was a little girl and I was doing ballet dancing, I always wanted something like this and they were always like too expensive for me. They feel like cashmere, they're not, but they're really pretty. This is something that like, if I don't give it to my friend's kid, I think it might be a bit too big for her. It's something that I would list. I would list it as like ballet wear, but I would also list it as like ballet core and really kind of hit those core aesthetics. Cause this is the kind of thing that like girls today will wear that are kind of into that ballet core aesthetic. So I probably wouldn't see more than like $15 or $20 for this. I want to say that they retail like 40 or 50, but kind of a cool find. I've never found anything like this in the thrift. All right, next up, another fun vintage piece. I've had, I think, 1 or 2 other vintage silk pieces from this company before. This is from Melrose Silk Studio. So I'm guessing this is a pretty local place, but this is vintage from the 90s. It's 100% silk. It's just a short sleeve boxy shirt in this like vivid pink and purple print. It is in perfect condition. 100% something that'll probably go on like Depop. This is the silhouette that people are seeking. This looks to be about a size large to I'm gonna guess that this is an extra large just based on the fit that people were looking for at that time. But this must have been a really high-end place. I mean, like I'm looking at the buttons here and it's actually like abalone, right? Like they're very organic shaped. They're all present and accounted for, which is something that I urge you, if you pick up a vintage piece that has buttons, like check every single button, make sure it's there, because like something like this, there are obviously certain things that I can replace. Like I can go to Joann Fabrics, or if I need to, I can go to the garment district downtown and find, you know, pretty close replacements. But something like this, no way. You know, like you're just not gonna find this. Anyway, so I'll probably see like, something like this, I'll probably see like 30 to 35 on these. That's about what they go for. Again, high-end construction, high-end textile, true vintage in absolutely perfect condition. I know that's not something that like everybody is into, but that is very much something that I always keep my eyes out for. Next up, now this is a brand I wasn't aware of, and I picked up a piece a while ago and it sold really well for a pretty great price. This is called Maven West. And this is a Cupro like tie-dye blouse. Cupro, if you are unaware, is basically like vegan silk. If you get something and they say that it is vegan silk, chances are it's Cupro. Cupro is a cellulose fabric, so in the same vein, it comes from trees. So in the same vein as like a lyocell, tencel, as viscose, as rayon. The difference between like something like a tencel and a Cupro, which Cupro is generally like a very high-end textile, and it's usually priced comparatively like in line with silk. And it all stems back to like the wood fiber that's being used. So like Cupro is made of like ultra high grade wood fiber, whereas Tencel's more like kind of everyday. And then you get into like the cheaper rayons and you're into like kind of low grade wood scrap, right? So the good thing about them is that they tend to be pretty they tend to be renewable and non-animal based. So if that is something that you are concerned with, Cupro might be a great option for you, because it does have very much the same feel as silk. The one difference is if you see it in like an application that's similar to silk, it'll almost look like frosted. It like the surface of it tends to have a little bit of like almost like a pearlescence to it, and I don't know how else to describe that. But either way, this is kind of like a Cupro chiffon or Cupro Gorget. Size large, kind of boxy fit, great condition. There's a little speck on it, which I should be able to get at. I think that's from the bins, but this probably retailed close to $200. So they're sold at like high-end boutiques. And when I say high-end boutiques, I'm not talking about the kind of boutique, I'm not talking like boutique brand where it's kind of mass produced and you buy packs of it. This is like the kind of boutiques where you're gonna go and you're gonna find like Mother jeans, right? So it's gonna have those like higher end small brands. That's where you're gonna find this kind of thing. So it does have a cult following. Very interested to hear if any of you have ever found a piece from Maven West, where you are. It looks like there's a good concentration of this down in like the southeast of the States. So let me know what you guys know about this brand. If you've ever found it, has it sold well for you? I just think it's really pretty. And it's a brand that I do like to see. I've had a few pieces since that first one and they've all sold pretty well for a pretty great price. I would imagine something like this, 35 to 40 or so. Next up, I love this kind of texture on a sweater. So I grabbed this because it looked nice, like the sweater looked high quality. It's got that kind of like, it's like a natural unbleached color with those speckles on it. This to me just feels so fall. I look inside, sure enough, it's Vince. Again, wildly expensive brand. It is a size extra small, which will slow this down, but it's such a good basic and it's nice and oversized. So I think that like, I don't think that this would be a problem fitting somebody that's a size small, but either way, it's a nice like oversized chunky turtleneck. It's perfect for sweater weather. It's like a wool cotton blend in like perfect condition. I'll probably see somewhere between 35 and 45 on this. This probably retailed close to $300. Vince is just so expensive. But isn't that great? I mean, how often do I get to find something like this at a time like this? I feel like these are the kind of things that we find in spring as people are clearing out their like winter wardrobes. So what a treat. Next up, oh God, this is so pretty. And my God, I wish this was my size. So this is a silk blouse in the most gorgeous red color, but this is from Intermix. I've never found an Intermix piece before. You may be familiar with Intermix because they're like a high-end online boutique. So they sell, you know, like Ulla Johnson, they sell brands like that, but they do have their own internal brand, very high-end. This is silk chiffon. So it's got these beautiful sheer shoulders, this ruffle that kind of like mimics one of those center dresses that kind of cascades down. The sleeves have that ruffle and then a beautiful ruffle detail at the hem with some pin tucking up here. Like all the finishing is really nice on this. Little ruffle on the bottom. Size small. It's probably retailed $300, $350, and I'll probably see like 40 or so on the resale market on it. This is something like, again, I'll probably get this up as quick as possible. Not only will this be good for like winter holidays, but also like a little witchy. It's got the bell sleeves, it's chiffon. It's this beautiful deep red. I'm gonna be sure to like expedite and get this up. Beautifully made. Let me know if you've, oh, and it's got a little keyhole there, right? So it's just a little bit of sexy peekaboo. So anyway, let me know if you've ever found Intermix. How did it do for you? So interested. This is beautiful. And again, in like perfect condition. Next up here, these are some Free People Movement shorts. I mean, I can tell these from a mile away just by like the height of this waistband. I can't remember the name of this short. They've made it forever. I'll put it down on the bottom of the screen here. But I've never seen one like in the floral print. It is a size small. I'll probably see like $15 on it. These don't resell for all that much. They've got a little key pocket back here. They retail for like 58 bucks. And on a better day at the bins, I probably would have left these behind, but you know, some days you gotta take what you got. And again, I'll still see 15, 20 bucks on this, and that's totally fine because I only paid $1 for them. And they are in great condition. Next up, now this is an interesting one, and it looks horrible because it is so wrinkled. This is from Young, Fabulous, and Broke. This is a linen blend twist front poplin shirt. So it's got kind of like 3/4 length sleeves, very blousy, oversized fit. And this can button up, right? So it kind of gives you that like tied at the waist look without having to tie it at the waist. This will look so much better after it's washed and steamed, but it's in great condition. It's linen. It's Young, Fabulous, and Broke. They're sold on Revolve. They're a very expensive brand. Size small, again, very oversized fit. So this could easily fit a size medium. I'll probably see like, I don't know, 25 to 30 on this. Next up, now this isn't something I see all that often, especially not here. I saw it all the time when I was back in Utah. So this is a pair of sweatpants from the North Face. And anything with this kind of like spell out logo from the North Face tends to sell really, really well. This is a pair of men's sweatpants. They're size extra large. They are like brand new condition. They're in that like classic mustardy brown color that they do. Again, yeah, like perfect condition. I would be surprised if these were worn more than once. Like I feel like the bow that's on this was tied by the factory. You know what I'm saying? Like this just feels brand spanking new. Something like this, I'll probably see like, I mean, these probably retail, I want to say that these retail for like 70 bucks. I'll probably see 25 to 35 on these, and I have no doubt that they will sell quickly, especially right now. Anyway, this is always a good find and usually a very, very quick sale. Next up, this is a little Eileen Fisher piece. We love Eileen. This is 100% linen. It's a size extra large. It's kind of a poncho style top, so it's something that's gonna kind of hang like this. I'm gonna have to steam it out so it actually lays right. It's wrinkled and it feels like unworn linen. I don't know how to explain it. There is like, when linen is woven, especially a linen of this weight, because this is like ultra lightweight, there's a crisp to it when it's brand new and that I cannot describe, and I feel like this is brand new. Like I don't know if this was ever worn. Perfect condition, a good size. I love finding Eileen Fisher. Like I'll buy most Eileen Fisher in most sizes, but when I find something that's like an extra large, a 1X, 2X, like I'm very excited about it. So this is a good find. I'll probably see like $35 on this. It is not a very significant piece. It's very, very lightweight, but it's still Eileen Fisher and still probably retailed $200 or up. Next up, this is a Zara dress. Zara is exactly the kind of stuff. Now, I see a ton of Zara while I am outsourcing. I leave most of it behind. If I have to guess, on days that are a little bit tougher and the finds are fewer and far between, I will be a little bit more intent on those Zara pieces. So it's just something you can kind of keep in the back of your mind. Like if you gear yourself up to go to the bins and you're at the bins, like you may as well stay, even if it's a tougher day, you will still find good stuff. It's just not gonna be like the Ulla Johnsons and the Johnny Wuzzes of the world, right? So something like this. Now this is a perfect example of a Zara piece that I will pick up. This is a cream dress. It's got this pretty ruched style. It's long sleeve. It's got a ruched like mini length skirt. Size medium, perfect condition. This is something that because of its color, it's gonna be applicable to not just cocktail events, you know, it's also gonna be applicable to like the wedding season. So you use little white dress, use bachelorette party, you use bridal shower, etc., 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 engagement party. This is exactly the kind of thing that will get picked up for something like that. And you know, if you're getting married and you have all of these things to buy dresses for, like you relish the ability to pick up something like this for 30 bucks instead of going out and dropping $300 on whatever for every single event. But yeah, perfect condition, very, very cute. Size medium, so a good size, and it's got that color that I can use those bridal keywords on. Probably 30 to 35 on this. This is a little Terzo Millennio Italian linen shirt. It's just a classic little short sleeve, white linen with a lace trim bottom, boxy fit, scoop neck. I don't think that this is a particularly expensive brand of Italian linen. It's still Italian linen, so it's really nice quality textile, and the finishing is really nice on it, but I'll still probably see like $25 on something like this. If it was a dress, probably closer to like 30. They kind of retail in that like $60 range and then resell in around like the $20 to $30 range, depending on the piece. But perfect condition, size medium, crisp white linen. Maybe not something to pick up if you're sourcing for like $6.99, but if you're sourcing for $1 or $2 or $3 at the bins, it's a good, like reliable seller. Next up here, now this is another Zara piece, and again, something that not necessarily I would have picked up on a better day. The colors are very much like of the moment, the warm yellows and oranges and reds, that very like 70s inspired kind of color palette. This is something that somebody could also pick up for like a 70s costume, because it does feel very much of the era. I mean, I'm not going to see much more than like $15 or $20 on this. It's not a super significant piece, but it is in great condition. It's a size large. So again, like, let me know, is this something that you would have picked up if you saw this outsourcing on a tough day? Like, let me know. I'm interested. Yeah, like this was $6.99. This would have been $7 in the main Goodwill store. I would definitely not have picked it up at that price. Not to resell. To buy for me, all day. I'll pay $7 all day, but for resell, no way. These are a pair of pants from Viore, and I had my hand on them. I'm like, this feels really, really nice. And I wasn't seeing any branding. Usually Vuori has a big V branding on the outside. And the fabric that everybody knows them from is this like dream knit that's just like really buttery soft. And it doesn't. Like this almost feels like, this is similar to what like Figs uses for their scrubs. It's like this heavier duty fabric. It almost feels like golf slacks. So I wasn't seeing the branding, and I got back and I finally saw it right there. And I was there with a friend of mine and she's like, yeah, I just saw the laces. I'm like, oh man, I never put two and two together that this is what the Vuori laces look like. It never hit me that this is what their laces look like. So guys, look out for look out for these laces and it'll tell you if it's Vuori. Vuori, pretty much anything sells lightning quick. The name of these pants, I can't remember it. I'll put it down on the screen, but they retail for $128. On the resale market, they're going for anywhere between like $50 and $80, and they sell quick. Like anything I've ever put up from Vuori sells within like 2 days for like way more than you anticipate it selling for. So an exciting find. Like anytime I find Vuori in the bins is an exciting moment. I'm sure that won't be like the brand du jour forever, but for now, it's still a really, really hot brand to keep your eyes out for. Next up, this was super cute. Now this is an Intimately Free People little bodysuit, and it's interesting, right? So first of all, I love this emerald color. I think it's so pretty. But for me, like I love this strap. If you look at how the front connects, I'm gonna try to show this. So it's all drawstring, right? So you see how that kind of connects and creates a little keyhole. It's very like interesting. It feels very 70s to me, and the back kind of crosses like that. It's in great condition. It is a bodysuit. It's a size small. Something like this would have retailed probably close to $70, but something like this I'll probably see like $25 on. It's just so pretty. I love that color. For the holidays coming up, I think this will sell pretty quickly. Definitely not something that can be worn by anybody who needs any kind of support in the bust region, but it's still super pretty. Next up, this is a t-shirt from Buck Mason. Definitely a brand to be on the lookout for. Anytime I've had anything from them, it sells super quick. This is a 2XL t-shirt. These kind of things, they retail for $45. I'll still probably get $20 all day. It's just a plain gray t-shirt. I mean, I've just had such good luck with Buck Mason. I found a couple sweatshirts. They go like 40 bucks. It's just a brand that guys really love. They're really high quality. The textiles are really nice. The construction's really nice. The fit's really nice. That's, I think the big thing is the fit. So definitely a brand to be on the lookout for. Next up here, this is a pair of Travis Mathew shorts. These are just kind of like a blue, they almost look like a flannel weave, like that's the print. They're made to look like a flannel weave. These are a size 38. These Travis Mathew pieces, the pants especially, they'll go for like 40, 50 bucks, sometimes into the 60s and 70s, depending on the size and the style you've got. Something like this I'll probably see about 30 bucks for. Now they're shorts, so they might take a minute to sell, but you know, people are still wearing golf shorts in Arizona. Travis Mathew does not sell as high as like a Peter Millar, which is like a super high-end golf brand, but they do retail for like a little over $100. I want to say these were probably like 108, maybe like 98, but somewhere in that range. They don't sell for like the biggest amount, but they do sell quick and they are in pretty high demand. So something I will always pick up. I love finding, and they're like really well made. Next up, now this, oh my God, this is so cute. So this is from Lelise. And in my head, for whatever reason, I was thinking that Lelise was an Anthropologie brand. And I think I was thinking of Live Los Angeles. I think that's what I was confusing. Either way, this is super adorable. So this is tulle with little daisy embroideries. It's in like perfect condition, kind of a corset looking top. Kind of cropped in the back, it's completely sheer. I just thought this was super adorable, and it's one of those things that like on Depop I can use all the keywords and get the right eyes to it. So, so cute. It is a size medium in like brand new condition. All right, we are getting there. Okay, so this was an interesting pickup. This is a pair of men's pants, and they felt really like well made. They're really nice, and the brand on this was Henry Cotton's. So I'm seeing like the tag looks nice. It looks really like old money to me. The size is 86, which I believe is Euro. I don't know, 86? Anyway, so they're in great condition. Turns out Henry Cotton's is a British brand, which makes perfect sense, just given the name. And they're made in Italy. So I'm interested to see how this does. Let me know if any of you are familiar with this brand. Again, you know, like, it was kind of a rough day at the bin, so I was, you know, I was picking up some things that I thought were really well made, and I'm like, okay, well, let's give this a try. They are pleated front, so I think that these are a bit older, maybe 90s, but also that's being sought out by people right now, so we'll see. Maybe 20 or 30 bucks on these, maybe more. It looks like some of the jackets go in the hundreds. So, I mean, the finishing on these is really, really nice. So, you know, there's definitely like very little in terms of like expenses spared here, but I'm interested to see how these go. Looks like we got about 4 left. And I mean, honestly, some really good things here. So now this was an interesting one. This is silk chiffon. So I felt the silk chiffon and I was like, okay, that's really nice. And this was inside out when I found it. And this was kind of the first thing that I saw, right? So it's got one of those little like straps with a snap to hold a bra strap in place or a camisole in place. And I know that that's not something that I see very frequently on low quality clothes. So look at the sleeves. They have this beautiful pin tucking detail. And it blouses out. Same on the back, beautiful pin tucking. And it's, I mean, like just as light as a feather, right? Like I just knew that this was something nice. So there's no tag on it. It looks like the tag's been removed. There's no tag on the inside, but I threw it in my bag and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take a closer look at this. And when I looked really close to the buttons, I saw that it was Zadig and Voltaire. And I have no idea if I'm saying that right. Zadig and Voltaire. I do not know if you're gonna be able to see this. Maybe you can see it. But anyway, so Zadig & Voltaire is a super expensive designer brand. They sell very like edgy, like their stuff tends to lean towards the edgy. But again, it's a brand that people seek out. It is really beautiful, beautifully made and in fantastic condition. Not a clue what I'll get for this. 35, maybe 40. Probably retailed $200-300. Definitely a brand to be on the lookout for. Let me know if you've ever found anything from them. Like, let me know what you found, how long it took to sell, what you got for it. I'm very interested. It's always a brand that I'm interested in. Like, I get served their ads all the time, and I click it and I'm like, it's $500, so I won't be buying it. Anyway, always an exciting brand to find and just beautiful. Oh, I'm sorry, now I have 4 more. So this is a beautiful sweater. So I felt the sweater, I'm like, this is linen for sure. And I love the look at this. This is very Login look. It's very like a natural looking. It's linen, so it's got that beautiful drape to it, a nice like wide open split neck. And it's a size 12, which is a great size. Now this is from a brand called Poetry. I have found a few Poetry pieces and I love them. You know, their whole focus is really like simple, classic design with ultra nice textiles, right? So pretty much everything they make is silk, it's cashmere, it's linen, it's 100% cotton, like at a baseline, like that's their junk fiber. So this is linen, cotton, silk, I believe. Nope, just linen and cotton. So it's a beautiful mid-weight knit. And this is the tag you're looking for. Now, just a bit of warning, there is a boutique brand also called Poetry. So you want to make sure that if you are picking up something from Poetry, it is this Poetry and not the boutique brand. Now, chances are with what I just told you in terms of like the textiles they use, you're gonna know if you hold something that is from Poetry, this Poetry versus the other Poetry. I want to say that the other Poetry's tags are screen printed as well. I've never seen this Poetry tag that looks anything different than this. This probably retailed about $200. Their cashmere retails close to $400. It's very expensive. They have a really good following in terms of like who buys their stuff. You know, this is very much their style. I found a couple other pieces. They've all sold really well. I'll probably see like $40, $50 on this. Definitely a brand to be on the lookout for. But again, just make sure that if you're picking it up, if you see a tag that says Poetry, like just check the contents label. It'll tell you whether or not it's the right Poetry or the boutique Poetry. But I'm always very excited to find it. I have not found it much. I don't think I've ever found it in the, nope, that's a lie. I've only found it one other time in the bins, and I found it a couple times in the stores, but every time I do, I'm excited. It's just very high-end basics. And I love them. Let me know if you've ever found Poetry before. I'm interested. 3 to go. This is a little Free People Intimately kind of milkmaid style bustier, right? So it's got this cute ruffle top. It's a size large, I believe. It's size large. So it's got little cap sleeves that can be worn like up over the shoulders or over the cap. It's got a nice wide scoop neckline. These are all elastic, and they're like nicely strong elastic, so it will like hold things in place quite well. This feels brand new. Something like this I'll probably get like 20 bucks for, 15 or 20 bucks for. Kind of, I wouldn't call this like a bralette. This is definitively a top, but it'll probably sell kind of in the same price range, maybe a little bit more than 20, 25. Perfect condition, absolutely perfect condition. And a very pretty color. Second to last here, and this was a banger. Hello, this is St. John wool and silk sweater. Perfect condition, V-neck, beautiful cream color, size medium. I think this is one of their newer tags, so this is, I think, a newer piece. This probably retailed for $500. St. John is known for their knits. It's what they do, and it's pretty much what they do better than anybody in the world. Their knits are just bananas. So this isn't their typical Santana knit, which is like the knit that you see on their like sweater blazers. That's wool and nylon. It's a little bit heavier and it's made to like keep that structure. This is wool and silk and I think a little bit of viscose. So it's lighter weight. It's got a better drape to it. This just screams money, right? Like this just screams rich. Like St. John knits are unbelievably luxurious. So an incredibly exciting find to find in the bins. I'll probably see 40 or 50 bucks on this, maybe a little bit more. I haven't seen much of the non-Santana knit St. John pieces, so I'm interested to see how this does, but like I'm always excited when I see that label. And finally, this was probably the most exciting find of the day. This is a little Burberry girls dress. Isn't this adorable? I did some checks on it. It is legit. It's beautifully made. It's this nice, like, heavier weight cotton. It's a size 4. I double checked the tag on the inside. Everything looks legit. It is in perfect condition. But these retail for like $540, which, listen, it's beautifully made, but like, excuse me. I'm sorry, it's cotton. My 2 cents. My 2 cents. Exciting to find this for $1. I'll probably see like sold comps for, and I wasn't able to find this exact dress, but sold comps are anywhere between like $50 and $200. So I have no idea what I'll get on this, but talk about an exciting find. It is absolutely precious. Cute little bow. That's their classic. If you've ever seen, like, I've got a Burberry trench that I found at the thrift. Don't mind me. And this is like their signature buckle. Like this looks just like one of their buckles on one of their trench coats. So it's a very like recognizable thing. It's what a fun little piece. So very exciting find there. Talk about the things you don't expect to find at the bins. I'll take it. But that is it, guys. That is the haul for today. It was a tough day. The finds were few and far between, but I did find some good stuff. I mean, Burberry and St. John and Zadig and Voltaire and poetry. I never find poetry. So like after last week, which was such a great week, like it was kind of disappointing, but you know, when I got home and I started checking things in, I was like, okay, I really did find some very, very good things. So I think I've got sales here of somewhere between like $800 and $900. And that'll bring my profit somewhere around $600 on this. I spent $30. So not a bad day. I mean, again, it wasn't like a blockbuster day, but some real winners in here. But guys, thank you so much for hanging with me while I go through these hauls. I always have so much fun sharing these treasures with you. I started this entire channel so I could have somebody to nerd out about this stuff. I mean, like nobody in my life is in any way interested in this. So it's such a trip for me to have found this incredible community of people that also love digging through bins and finding treasures. So I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I mean, you have no idea what it means to me that you are all here and you choose to spend a little bit of your time with me. I know that we are all crazy busy and it really just warms me to my core. But guys, that's all she wrote. If you had fun, please consider leaving a like or a comment on this video. Of course, don't forget to hit subscribe. I would love to have you along on this journey. But without further ado, guys, have the most beautiful weekend, have the most beautiful spooky season. Happy hunting, and I will see you in the next one.